What is good form, and what does it look like, and how can we achieve it? One of the most debated aspects of running form is foot strike, specifically whether mid-foot strike or heel strike is better for runners. Lately, there's been a lot of buzz around the benefits of mid-foot striking. However, let's dive deeper into this topic to uncover what the research says and determine what truly constitutes the best running form. Previously, it has been thought that the focus should be on how the runner's form looks and how to optimize that. This is Emil Sadopek, who was a former Czechoslovakian track and field athlete. He won Olympic gold in the men's 10,000 meters in the 1948 Summer Olympics in London. And while this form looks kind of wonky or wrong, is it really bad form? Some arguments include the natural running form, that the one we get by simply not thinking and just running is the optimum. Some people will argue that the personal running form is the one that we develop to use the least amount of energy to move forward. But some studies show that the natural stride, on average, is 2.5 centimeters away from the optimal running form. And with optimal, I mean the form that produces the most economical running. And while this notion that the optimal form is the natural form, we'll figure out in this video what will be the best form. So what is good form and what does it entail? In the next section, we're going through both the upper body and the lower body. Both of these will include specific elements of the either body part. Before we delve further into the topic of running form, it's essential to reference a prominent resource in the field, Running Form by Owen Anderson. This book provides detailed insight into what constitutes good form and presents various opinions on running technique, including the highly debated topic of midfoot striking. Anderson is highly positive against the midfoot striking, although he highlights some studies that questions the supposed benefits of midfoot striking, providing a sort of balanced perspective on the matter. In this video, we will explore different viewpoints in scientific research to gain a comprehensive understanding of running form. As I've included numerous citations and references in the video description, I encourage you to take a closer look at them for further exploration and verification. It's crucial to critically evaluate the information and form your own conclusion based on the available evidence. Now let's transition to another vital aspect of running, preventing injuries, one of the main aspects that Anderson brings up regarding the midfoot striking. While some claim that there are many benefits to changing form, one of the most prolific ones are the chances of preventing injury. Over 54 million Americans engage in running at some point over the course of a year, and there are 540,000 marathoners that finish annually. These facts are halted by the gruesome reality that approximately 65% of runners are injured. And now, why would you want to prevent injury? Well, aside from the obvious fact that getting hurt does not feel too good and takes a long time to recover, the most notable part is that it hurts your performance, since it actively takes you away from training consistently. Some would claim that shifting your form to a more midfoot striking pattern could therefore decrease your chances of getting injured. Then there are some studies that have found that heel striking doubles the risk of running-related injuries. VALR, or vertical average loading rate, is a big predictor of injury. We can see the difference of the loading rates between heel striking and midfoot striking from the graph shown. There's an obvious local peak for the heel strikers, where they exert much more rapid force on the leg than midfoot striker does. We can see that the top is still the same, but that these high forces are prominent, and the forces are consistent between the two striking patterns. And we can see from other studies that higher forces on the legs are linked with a greater risk of injury, as well as higher loading rates of force are also connected with a larger probability of getting hurt. Now let's dive into the lower body, a crucial aspect of good running form. We'll explore foot striking patterns, shank angle, and other key elements that contribute to efficient and effective running. In studies conducted in Brazil and Manchester, it was found that a significant percentage of recreational runners tend to heel strike. However, when we look at elite Kenyan runners, known for their outstanding performance, we often see different foot striking patterns. He exhibits a midfoot strike pattern, which is considered more efficient for many runners. Owen Anderson's book picks up the talk about why there is so many heel strikers, and the prevalence of heel striking in many runners could be influenced by the design of modern running shoes, often characterized by large cushioned heels. Interestingly, a study conducted by Harvard researchers revealed that runners who run barefoot are almost never heel strikers, which would suggest that footwear choice may impact our foot striking patterns. Now, let's explore the key elements of good lower body form that can enhance running performance. Shank angle at touchdown, SAT, refers to the angle between the knee and the point of initial foot contact. Max shank angle, MSA, represents the largest angle the shank makes during the forward swing of the leg. And finally, ROS, or the reversal swing, is calculated by subtracting SAT from MSA. It indicates the maximum angle change during the swing phase. These are key elements of running. Now let's explore a key technique that can enhance your running efficiency and reduce the risk of injuries. A sweeping action with a slightly bent leg at touchdown helps absorb impact, reduce braking forces, and improve running efficiency. Optimizing foot center of mass and leg stiffness can enhance propulsion and energy transfer, enabling more powerful and efficient strides. This is where the importance of the ROS comes in. Basically, it is the power of the leg sweeping above the ground and the force that will move you forward. The kinetic energy of the leg during running is directly related to its velocity during ROS. Increasing the ROS velocity can lead to higher propulsive forces and greater energy transfer. By paying attention to these elements and incorporating them into your running form, you can optimize your lower body mechanics and unlock your full running potential. Upper body and what to think of. First, let's talk about arm action. The arms play a significant role in maintaining balance and rhythm while running. Keep your arms relaxed and in a comfortable angle, swinging them in a smooth and controlled manner. Avoid excessive arm movement that can waste energy and impact your running economy. Arm placement is equally important. Keep your elbows bent at approximately 90 degrees and aim to swing your arms close to the body. This helps reduce unnecessary sideways movements and direct your energy forward. Trunk rotation is another key aspect. While some degree of rotation is beneficial and natural, excessive twisting of the trunk can lead to energy loss and inefficiency. Maintain a controlled and moderate trunk rotation that complements your stride without sacrificing forward propulsion. It's also essential to maintain good posture throughout your run. Imagine a straight line from your hips to your shoulders and all the way up to your head. This alignment promotes optimal step length and cadence. Keep your head up and gaze forward, avoiding excessive tilting or tension in the neck. Remember, as long-distance runners, it's crucial and important to use the energy resources wisely. While the upper body contributes to stability and rhythm, it shouldn't excessively deplete the maximal aerobic capacity, or VO2 max. Reserve the available oxygen for the core, legs, and feet, the major propulsive muscles that drives us forward. Moving on to the practical side of improving your running form, it's important to approach any form changes with care and gradual transition. Abruptly altering your running form can increase the risk of injuries in untrained areas of your body. Sudden shifts in form can introduce new stress to muscles and joints that were not previously accustomed to such demands. Some studies even support the notion that an immediate switch to a new running form can lead to higher incidence of injuries. This is primarily because the muscles and tissues need time to adapt to different stress patterns. Therefore, it's crucial to gradually increase the workload and allow your body to adjust to the new form over time. Previously, we discussed how heel striking places immediate pressure on the leg, while midfoot striking tends to distribute the forces more gradually. Considering this, let's explore some training routines that can assist in transitioning to a midfoot strike. One example is the phased approach, which includes phase 1 to 5. It begins with in-place walking and jogging, focusing on landing with a midfoot strike and slightly bent knees. Over time, you progress to running, starting with barefoot and gradually transitioning to running shoes. While training routines are important, one crucial factor that ties everything together is cadence, the number of steps per minute. As we've discussed previously, a higher cadence often leads to midfoot striking, reducing the risk of injuries and promoting a better posture. Look to the Kenyan runners as an example. They often exhibit a higher cadence, so it's worth emphasizing the importance of maintaining an optimal cadence in your running. Additionally, it's essential to pay attention to the leg path when aiming for a midfoot strike. In the running form book we've previously mentioned in this video, a specific knee raising technique is mentioned. This liver type of leg path involves raising your knees in a certain manner to optimize your running form. Incorporating these exercises and mindful techniques, along with gradually transitioning your form, will help you improve your running efficiency and reduce the risk of injuries. Throughout this video, we've discussed the potential benefits of midfoot striking in improving running efficiency, economy, and reducing the risk of injuries. However, it's important to note that the research in this area is not entirely conclusive, and I've sort of lied to you. There are some conflicting studies worth considering though. What we have talked about and what we will continue to talk about now in these conflicting studies is if mid or forefoot striking is more economical, if there is this reduction in the impact peak and loading rate of the vertical components on the ground reaction force, and if there is a reduction in the risk of running related injuries. And from the research that I've read, this does not seem to be the case. We'll start with the economy part. Changes in the economy of running have been examined in various studies. Some studies have observed that top finishers in short, middle, and long distance events tend to use a mid and forefoot strike, which would indicate that the mid and forefoot strike may enhance the effective storage and release of elastic energy during running, potentially leading to improved running economy. With that being said, some studies would indicate that this is not the case, although they do have less statistical significance, while some other studies would indicate that this would be the case. It seems that the scientific community around this topic is in confliction. In terms of the VALR, or impact characteristics, a rear foot strike often exhibits a distinct impact peak in the vertical ground reaction forces, as we've seen beforehand, while a midfoot and forefoot strike may not show this visible impact peak. However, recent studies utilizing frequency domain analysis have found evidence of impact frequencies in mid and forefoot running, albeit with lower magnitudes and lower rates compared to rear foot running, which would in some sense indicate that a mid and foot strike could lead to lower impact rates. Which brings us to the final topic of injury rates. To conclusively assess the risk of injury, large-scale prospective studies involving diverse foot strike patterns need to be conducted. While some retrospective studies have suggested a reduced incidence of injuries in mid and forefoot strikers, it is important to note that these studies often have specific sample groups and relatively small sample sizes. Further research is required to investigate these injury rates. It should also be noted that some studies would say that the injuries jump from one place to another when changing foot strike patterns. And in some sense, while switching to a midfoot strike pattern would decrease knee injuries, it would increase, for example, Achilles injuries. In conclusion, while midfoot striking has shown potential advantages in terms of running economy and injury reduction, the research in this area is not definitive, and conflicting studies exist. It is important to approach this topic with an open mind and considering individual factors when making changes to your running form.
Gradually transitioning and paying attention to your body's responses are crucial to mitigate the risk of injuries and optimizing running performance.